Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa, No Filler. Please like and subscribe. Oh my goodness. Brighton and Hove Albion, the team that so many talk about, so many hype up, and rightly so, because they play brilliant football. They have a great manager, all these things, but they turn up to Villa Park today and they play it against a team who play brilliant football and have a brilliant manager and have now beaten them 3 times in a row. Aston Villa 6, Brighton 1. Who saw that coming? I tell you, wow. I'm kind of speechless. I almost could sit here staring down the camera for the next 10 minutes in pure silence. And I think that would be enough to convey how I feel about what I just witnessed at Villa Park. We were absolutely amazing. 4 days ago, we played against Everton, got knocked out of the Carabao Cup, and it was an incredibly frustrating performance. And one we had to bounce back from. We looked like Loaf of Bread FC the other day, right? Danny Drinkwater FC. And whereas today, I mean, it was like a gourmet Michelin star meal. Every single one of those players was the perfect ingredient for the greatest meal cooked up by Professor Unai, who is, pretty much the bear. That TV show with the chef. The bear. I mean, wow. The Gordon Ramsay of football management. The Marco Pierre White. Villa's first half display was absolutely incredible. And it reminded me of when we beat Newcastle 3-0 back in April, right, at Villa Park, where we totally outclassed them and outfought them. We were just a bit more aggressive. We were tactically so well coached that Newcastle couldn't do anything. And the exact same thing happened today against Brighton. It was almost as if, just like when we beat Newcastle 3-0, these Villa players have gone into this game thinking we need to bounce back from the Everton game, 1. But 2, there's a lot of talk about how good Brighton are. And you know what? Villa don't seem to quite get the credit. When I listen to other football podcasts, right, so not Villa-specific podcasts, but what I hear is a lot of, Villa are a yo-yo team at the moment. They're all right. They're not, they've done okay. There's not quite enough credit, I think, when I listen to these things about how good Aston Villa actually are. There's question marks over them. Yes, there's been a couple of really bad performances this season. 1 or 2 because of squad rotation in the Cup, and then in the league, I just think Liverpool were fantastic. I think Newcastle was a freak event, the Mings injury and all that. So today, I feel like the players turned up and thought we're going to prove a point, right? And to be honest, one wider football podcast I listened to said that Brighton were just going to turn up and dominate. And of course, you'd think that if you hadn't watched Aston Villa. But if you do watch Aston Villa, you will know that Aston Villa are not a team at Villa Park who really get dominated anymore. Are they? And what Villa did to mitigate the idea that Brighton might dominate was that the press was so good in the first half. I almost feel like I want to write poetry to it. I want to get the entire tactical outlay of the first half tattooed onto my face so I can always remind other people of it and remind myself when I look in the mirror about the fact that, when Brighton had the ball in defence, Diaby and Watkins would both step forward, and get quite tight to each other. And then Douglas Luiz would press forward. So there were almost 3 of them there. And Douglas Luiz was man-marking the 18-year-old debutant whose name goes out of my head. And so basically, it never felt like they were ever able to pass it into a midfielder and get playing from there. And if they wanted to go out wide, well, then you basically had John McGinn running over, all energy, action-packed, winning it back off them. And the fact that they couldn't go through the middle as well, it meant that Billy Gilmore couldn't get the ball either because Kamara was constantly on his back. So Kamara, Luiz, Diaby and Watkins, that press from the front was outstanding. It was almost like a square. They were so packed in together that if one of them won the ball, they very quickly could then interchange it and it would lead to a chance, which is what happened. It just, every time Villa won that ball back, unsettled Brighton, couldn't let them play. Villa would immediately get a counter-attack and create a chance just with one quick pass. Amazing. It's what we did to them last season as well, when Alexis McAllister lost the ball, and then I think McGinn put Jacob Ramsey through on goal and passed it across to Ollie Watkins to score. It's the same thing, but aggressive, not giving them the room to play. And then if they wanted to knock it forward, well, Danny Welbeck's not very mobile, and Pau Torres was on him the whole time. So Pau Torres was basically just following him everywhere, and Evan Ferguson was just anonymous, and Matoma couldn't get into it because there was nothing coming his way because the ball couldn't get to him. There was only the first 10 minutes was only when you thought, right, Brighton are dominating here, but Villa have been very patient. We're not really giving them any chances. We're not giving them much space to run into. We just got a bit. There was one moment where Billy Gilmore got the ball, put it over the top to Estepinian, who I think was offside, but he took a chance and you thought, all right, okay, here we go. And then what do you know? Villa get the goal. And the first goal, my goodness, I think it started with Diaby running through, should have passed it across to Douglas Luiz, made a mistake, but then Villa, we just kind of retained the ball for a full minute. The patience that we showed to not just, take a hopeful shot from 30 yards, which is what the temptation always is in football when you have the ball for a while. Instead, we just held on to it. We'd pass. If we had to go back to the goalkeeper or pass it to some bloke in Rosette, we'd do it just to keep the ball. Anyway, so Villa retain the ball in that final third, wait for the moment, and Matty Cash makes a really good run in behind. John McGinn with a super pass. How many of those did he make today, by the way? Super pass down through the Brighton lines. Matty Cash gets there. Fantastic play from Matty Cash. Really, really good. He played well today. Ball across and Ollie Watkins. There were question marks about Ollie Watkins. There were question marks about Ollie Watkins and whether he's up for it, whether he can do it anymore. And what did we say on this podcast? We said if he gets one goal, he'll get a million of them. And lo and behold, he goes and gets one against Chelsea. He looks to the sky in relief when he scored it, and he follows it up with 3 goals today. Wow. The another goal, I think it's hard to remember all the goals now, but I think the second goal, Watkins gets the ball out on the left, just runs at them a bit like that goal against Liverpool he got in that 7-2 a few years ago. Just runs and runs, takes it on. His confidence was there. His touch was there. His willingness to take players on. Cuts inside. And you could see the Brighton defence were just sort of couldn't deal with the guy at all day. Takes a shot, scuffs it a bit, and it goes in. Just amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. I think, basically what I would say is every single player in that first half was fantastic. The structure, the pressing structure was so good. That was elite coaching. I don't know how you can look at that and not think Villa looked like a supremely well-coached football team. And we figured Brighton out. It was as simple as that. And then, of course, we were also, as soon as we won the ball back, we were able to create chances very quickly, and we took them. Just amazing stuff, really. And so, second half, I think the worry was, we went in 3-0 at half time. I think the worry always would be that, Brighton will obviously make a few changes. They'll have been screamed at all half time. Villa, the temptation's there to just try and control the game, not be as high energy as we were in the first half. And, we did fall into that trap. The goal we conceded early on was sloppy, and it was early on in the first half. It was, a free kick. Douglas Luiz kind of bit slow. He just sort of backheels it almost for the Brighton player to then just get a free hit, with the free kick. And, it comes out to Luca Dean, who sort of passes it back, and just a very sloppy goal, really. And from there, you worried, Brighton really looked like they were getting back into it. They were very close to getting a second. João Pedro made a massive difference. He was much more mobile and physical than Danny Welbeck. I think that caused us quite a lot of problems in the first 15, 20 minutes of the half. I think Ansu Fati came on and showed a bit more movement than what the forwards were doing in the first half. And I think that Tariq Lamptey as well, just with that bit of pace, giving you something else to think about. I think they just need an injection of someone who's willing to gamble from the back. So I think all of them did very well. I think the substitutes who came on, and it got Matoma more into the game. But Aston Villa, well, we ball into Watkins. I think Watkins started the move that led to the fourth goal. He passes it into McGinn, and McGinn, again, his patience with the ball. Lovely ball over the top to Watkins, who then just hits a third. And then Jacob Ram hits his third of the day. Gareth Southgate watching. Can't wait to hear why he doesn't pick him this time. And then you've got Jacob Ramsey coming back. He's one of our own. Just, it's fantastic to see him back. He's such a crucial player. The energy that he shows, and again, the quality he has. Great finish. And then topping it off with, Kamara start for the sixth goal. I can't remember saying that. The sixth goal, it's Brighton. Kamara won the ball, I think, off João Pedro. Kamara had been doing this all game. He was everywhere, 10 out of 10. He was fantastic, as was Douglas Luiz as well, I think. All of them. Wow. But Kamara wins the ball back. It comes to Yon Duran, quick pass into Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz, quick pass into John McGinn. And McGinn, again, with a fantastic curve ball into Ollie Watkins. He should have taken his fourth, but it comes out to Douglas Luiz, who then, rounds it off. 5 goals in a row at home, I think, for Douglas Luiz, I heard in commentary. The first place is Dwight York. Douglas Luiz, who'd have thought that, huh? Amazing. What a performance. What a team. I'm already booking where I'm going to stand for Villa's open-top bus parade at the end of the season when we lift the Premier League trophy. Professor Unai lifting that in Birmingham City Centre. The drama and the joy of seeing that, I tell you, it's going to be something else. But no, the thing is, Villa had to bounce back, and they did. And Villa had to prove a point, and they did. Prove that, people need to stop calling us the best of the rest, or people, there's so much praise given to the likes of Brighton out there that it feels like Villa get a bit overlooked. And I can't help but feel that was the case on a few podcasts I listened to this week, non-Villa ones. I just thought, I don't think you quite grasp that Villa are really good. And yeah, there's been a few ropey performances, in the cups, but in the league, with 5 out of 7 wins now, you need to stop looking back on that Newcastle game, which is obviously in a lot of people's minds still, because I still think it was a freakish result, and I think that as every week goes by, I think that's becoming more and more true. So Villa today, everything worked. The high line worked really well. The press from the front was fantastic. Ollie Watkins, he gets 1 goal and he comes back and he gets a load, doesn't he? What a player. I can't believe anyone was questioning having him there. A gourmet Michelin star meal of a performance. From loaves of bread to Michelin starred. What a club. What a team. Up the mighty Aston Villa. 6-1.